Teaching number 175. The light of my Spirit has come to reveal to you all the gifts that exist in your being, everything that you have carried with you from your origin without realizing it. I have let you know that it is time for you to truly know each other, for you to find yourselves and know what your heritage is, so that you may be great in spirit. From time to time I have made revelations to you, first it was the law, later my doctrine, and finally the full knowledge of your spiritual mission. You say that I have been with men 3 times, but the truth is that I have always been with you. I am that Father who in the first era revealed his law of justice to humanity, who in the second era made his word incarnate in Jesus, his Son, and who now manifests himself spiritually to the world, and with it I have given you a divine parable through the ages. Its meaning speaks to you of your spiritual evolution and lets you know that the one who has spoken to you through the ages has been one God, one Spirit and one Father. You ask me what I intend to spiritually manifest of myself to humanity at this time. I answer that what I seek is your awakening to the light, your spirituality and your unification, since in all times you have been divided, because while some have sought the treasures of the Spirit, others have consecrated themselves to love the riches of the world. Spiritualism and materialism in constant conflict, spiritualists and materialists who have never been able to understand each other. Remember that while Israel was awaiting the Messiah, when it had him before its eyes, it was divided into believers and deniers of my truth. The explanation is simple: those who waited for me with the Spirit believed, and those who waited for me with the senses of matter denied me. Again, these two forces will have to face each other, until the truth emerges from that fight. The fight will be fierce because as time goes by, men love the earthly more, because their science and their discoveries make them feel as though they are in their own kingdom, in a world created by them. The men of now have extended their dominions, rule and cross all the earth. There are no longer unknown continents, lands, or seas. They have traced paths by land, by sea, by air, and not satisfied with what they have on their planet as an inheritance, they probe and scrutinize the firmament in search of greater domains. I bless in my children the desire to know, and their ambition to be wise, great and strong is infinitely pleasing to me, but what my justice does not approve of is the vanity in which they often base their ambitions or the selfish purpose that they sometimes pursue. I do not come to prevent men from increasing their knowledge, nor do I come to hide the light of science from them. When I deposited the human seed on earth and ordered it to grow and multiply, I also told it to rule over the earth, that is, that man be among all the creatures that were to surround him, the conscious being, knowledgeable of human laws and divine justice and cultivator of virtues, around whom all beings and elements revolved harmoniously. How far from harmony has man lived since he began his journey on earth? His incessant stumbling blocks, the inexhaustible chalice of suffering he has endured, his lack of peace testify to this. I am giving you the new lesson, which will be for all men. Not all have prayed for my arrival, but the pain has kept them alert and prepared to receive me. Humanity already has the experience that the people of Israel left it with since the second era, so that no one tries to challenge divine justice. Do you not know that the poor in spirit who longed for the coming of the Lord to receive from him the light of hope and knowledge, were given the gifts of prophecy, divine science and spiritual power? If you ask me about the whereabouts of those spirits, I will tell you that they are inhabiting dwellings where everything that exists of greatness on this planet, is before them as simple dust of the earth. But if you ask me what happened to those who accepted nothing from my kingdom because my word and my promises seemed poor to them, I will tell you that they are among those who incarnate and will reincarnate until the complete evolution of their spirit, because they asked for gold, power and injustice, and for their spiritual restitution, the world with its petty riches and its false power was granted to them. They have been touched by divine justice, but never rejected from the path of salvation that leads to the kingdom of truth. For this reason, now that I am sending you the light of my Spirit in abundance, I will look for them eagerly to make them understand that the trial time that was assigned to them is enough, making them understand that this is the third era, precisely the one in which times are consumed, of which I spoke when referring to the judgment of the Jewish people. You all have an appointment with me, and you will have to gather to listen to me, because you will all have to listen to me. Everything will be placed on the scales of my justice, where all the works that are not judged will be weighed. My presence and my power will be felt in a way that has never been seen before, because after the chaos, everything will tend to return to normal. Pray and watch continually so that you are not surprised, O people, but truly I tell you, that if you watch and pray for the world, there will be an invisible mantle that will protect you, because you knew how to love your brothers and feel their pain as your own. I repeat that I am going to make my presence, my power and my justice felt. If I have allowed man in his wickedness to profane whatever is sacred in life, I am going to put a limit on his wickedness. If I have let him walk the path of his free will, I am going to prove to him that everything in him has a limit. If I have let him fulfill his ambitions for power and greatness in the world, I am going to stop him on the way, to make him look at his work through his conscience, so that he can answer my questions. I have allowed pain, destruction and death to be felt in your life, so that those bitter fruits make you understand the kind of tree you cultivated, but I will also make the pain disappear and let the spirit rest and meditate, because the hymn of love to its creator will have to emerge from it. It is said and also written, that day will come, when men have adorned their spirit with the white garment of elevation, when they love one another. All will be saved, all will be forgiven, all will be comforted. Where is death, where is eternal damnation and hell without end? I did not create death or hell, because when my spirit conceived the idea of creation, I only felt love and from my bosom only life sprouted. If death and hell existed, then they would have to be human works, no matter how small, and you already know that nothing human is eternal. Truly I tell you, that in the instance in which my word is heard through the spokesman, not only the spirit of this people shakes, but also all those beings that are in the spiritual valley also need divine light. The sound of the human word does not reach them, but the essence and inspiration of my messages do, because my voice is universal and its echo reaches all the worlds and dwellings where the children of God dwell. I send to each world a ray of my light. I have sent this light to you in the form of a human word, it reaches other mansions through inspiration. In the light of that divine ray, all the spirits will unite, making of it a ladder that will lead them towards the spiritual kingdom promised to all of you who are spiritual particles of my divinity. Imagine the joy of all those beings who on earth had material ties with you and who today inhabit the afterlife of your world, when they know that the voice they hear, they also hear on earth. They have not moved away from you, they do not forget you, nor do they stop praying for those who stayed a few moments longer in the earthly valley. Their caress and their blessings are continually upon you. They live, those who were your parents, children, brothers, husbands, friends, or benefactors, those who in spirit are simply your brothers, but their love for you is the same or even greater, as well as their power to help and protect you. Pray for them, people, do not stop loving them and remember them, because your memory and your prayers are a sweet consolation in their struggle. Never imagine them disturbed or living in darkness, because it would be as much as if you felt qualified to dictate a judgment and a sentence on them, and if here on earth humans are usually so imperfect and unfair to judge the causes of their fellow men, what will it be in the case of judgments on a spirit? I tell you again, that you only have to help them with your prayer and with your good works in the world. Do not feel the need for them to manifest in any material form in your life, either through a medium or in some other way, because you would deny spirituality, which I have taught you. Nor do you have a certain day of the year to invoke them, no, meditate on the fact that the spiritual lives, outside of material time and therefore, every moment may be propitious to approach them through spiritual prayer. How many of those beings whom you have many times imagined suffering disturbances, are precisely the ones who have struggled to bring you closer to this path of light that they could not find when they were on earth? Do not cry then for them and much less have mourning because they left for the spiritual valley. They have not died, they simply moved forward a few moments before the moment in which you will have to leave. This was arranged by me, so that they would prepare the way for you. People, do you think it is necessary for me to tell you that you have nothing to do in the cemeteries and that the tears that you shed on the tombs are the tears of ignorance, materiality and fanaticism? The spirit of which you cry, lives and you persist in considering it dead in that body that disappeared under the earth. You give them up for lost, while they, full of love, are waiting for you to bear witness to the truth and to life. You believe them distant or insensitive and deaf in the face of your struggles and hardships, and you do not know how many boulders they are removing from your path and how many risks they are freeing you from. Ignorance forces you to be ungrateful and even cruel with yourselves and with others, although I must tell you, who can be ignorant after having listened to any of my lectures? My word is the ray of light that will envelop you all so that you remain fused in the fire of my love. If after hearing it, you believe it and put it into practice, from that moment on you will be united with all those who love me, believe in me and glorify me. I have told you in my teachings that life is the painful way of the spirit and the end of its existence on earth is its Calvary, so that you try to imitate me, putting my examples into practice. Blessed are the spirits who know how to reach the summit with faith and virtue, because at the moment of detaching themselves from matter, they experience the caress of the Father as a reward for their strength and love. Those are the ones who penetrate without stumbling into eternity. My word at this time will help men to understand the meaning of my law and my doctrine. The fulfillment given to humanity will provide them happiness, happiness of the heart and peace of the spirit, because perfect happiness will only be found by the spirit in the home to which it belongs. How many opportunities you have to be good and useful to your fellow men. Each home is a propitious field to sow my seed, each city and each town are like a land thirsty for charity and love, and I come to convert you into sowers so that you can water the world with love and consolation and sow it with peace. Works, words, prayers, are the means that you should and can use to fulfill the mission of serving and loving your brothers. I have taught you the perfect prayer, the one that is the true language of the Spirit, the one that puts man in direct communication with me. I have given you the gift of the Word that is an expression of the light that is in the Spirit and of the love that the heart treasures. People who listen to me, do not say that I am asking too much of you, when I know better than yourselves what you are capable of. Today you feel weak, clumsy, powerless and unworthy, because you examine your interior and discover many weaknesses, many needs that do not let you feel the pain of others, but first I am going to heal you, to make you feel my peace, to strengthen your heart, to clear your path, and then you will not feel shy or doubtful or feel incapable. That is why I have left you for some time listening to me, strengthening you little by little in my word, without yet sending you to the regions to fulfill your mission, but when your spirit is saturated with my essence, it will not wait for tests or signs to get up, because it will know how to receive by inspiration whatever it has to do. Pray, people, and while you pray, I will pour out my peace on all the peoples of the earth, I will bless your homes and light your paths. I will give you proof that what I have promised you is true. What test will that be? The one that you see come true in your life, something that you have been waiting for a long time, something that for some it is impossible to obtain. Some will soon receive what is offered by me, I will make others wait, but in truth I tell you, there will not be one who does not receive my proof of love. When that grace reaches each one of you, you will remember my word and your faith will increase. Do not despair, do not shed your tears, know how to wait for that hour by practicing my teachings, praying and watching. Do you see how in these moments in which you elevate your spirit, you forget your sorrows and you are filled with my peace? Try to always be before me, practice my doctrine and you will see my peace and my light prevail over your vicissitudes and labors. Understand that your sorrows are not useless, that you have the mission of tempering yourselves spiritually and physically so that you can be part of the number of my sowers. Those who are going to bring consolation to men, those who are going to lift up those who have fallen, those who are going to give strength to the weak, must be illuminated by the light of experience and must be strengthened in the fight and in the tests. May no picture of pain frighten them, may they not tremble at the misfortune of a fellow man, may they not flee from pain when the hands of their brothers reach out to them in demand for charity. There, among those who have hardened in vice and pain, you will see many emerge towards the light, seeking regeneration and spirituality, but for that inspiration to reach them, you have to deposit in their hearts a true proof of fraternity, an action that is the ray of light that illuminates the darkness of that being. Understand then, that the pain that has accompanied you in many ways, has been the chisel that has been inwardly modeling your spirit for the performance of a delicate mission. The lesson that I have come to give you in this third era is a New Testament that will remain united to those of past times, because the three form a single revelation. My light will illuminate the understanding of men destined to unite all my teachings into a single book. My spiritual servants will guide the hand of my chosen one so that there is no stain on that book. The differences that have existed between this people, their discussions and disunity, will disappear when you deepen your analysis of that book and come to understand the truth of my work. Today you still do not realize the consequences that your disunity is going to cause you, but in truth I tell you that tomorrow you are going to cry because of it. How many times have I asked you for the unification of your thoughts, your practices, and your spirits? How many times have you disregarded my divine advice? I have inspired you to form a people, giving you the name of the new Israel. I have given you various missions and positions, so that in your journey and in your struggles you may have all the necessary elements, as happened in Israel in the first era, when it crossed the desert in search of the promised land, but you have not tried to understand my mandates until now. Nor have you wanted to observe the example of union that those people left written, an indelible example because it was their harmony and their union that made them overcome the vicissitudes that they encountered along the way. A new land of promise awaits you, but you are still distant from it. You are already crossing the extensive desert, you left behind the slavery of Pharaoh and you have already received the law. However, you have not completely abandoned idolatry, and without realizing it you worship the golden calf. Tests, obstacles, and persecutions will have to come to you for you to wake up from your sleep. Then if you will be willing to fulfill my commands and you will be zealous to watch over the work that I have revealed to you, as at that time the Israelites built the tabernacle and the ark to keep the law, because the trials had awakened them to the light. Now your spirit will be your tabernacle and your ark your conscience. My law will be there illuminating the path of the Lord's people. There has not arisen in this time a man who, imitating Moses, walks before this people, encouraging their faith with prodigies, but with a little preparation you could feel the spiritual presence of Elijah, who is the one who guides you, encourages and inspires you on this journey. The multitudes who listen to me are crying. Only I know the reason for your complaints, only I know all the obstacles and difficulties that you have encountered along the way and that are stopping you. Persevere, multitudes, be faithful to me and you will see the obstacles cast down. Pray and work with ever greater truth, purity and perfection, so that in carrying out your mission you may find the consolation and strength necessary to endure the vicissitudes of life. If you walk like this, when you least expect it, you will see the path cleared and the stumbling blocks gone. You are my fields where for now the wheat and the tares grow together. It is not yet time to reap, but when it comes, the works of each one of you will be judged. Then I will leave the good disciples on earth and I will raise from this world those who have not borne fruits of unification and spirituality. Watch and heed my word, do not trust yourselves, believing that my justice can never reach you, because you have received very great charges and missions from me. Remember David and Solomon, who having been great before their people, they fell asleep in their greatness, broke the law and saw my divine justice come upon them, inexorable and wise, when they believed that because they were so loved by the Father, they would never be touched by him. Think, O people, of the new generations. Think of your children as the patriarchs did, who prepared their people so that they knew how to receive the arrival of the Messiah. Pray for those who come, prepare the way for them with charity and love, understand that they will have to fulfill even higher missions than yours and that it will be good for them to find a path of spirituality where they can walk. What will that footprint be? That of your life, that of your works. Every spirit owes a great debt to its Father. My love for you and my justice have offered you on earth this new opportunity to justify yourselves before me, to restore spiritually and to purify yourselves so that you can move on to the next mansion. O blessed third era, you are the bearer of everything the world needs to save itself from its slavery. Blessed are those who take advantage of your light because they will be saved. Throughout your spiritual journey I have guided you, tested you and prepared you for the revelation of this time. It will not be men who organize the new people of Israel, I will be the one who forms, purifies, elevates and sends them to the world to fulfill their mission. As these people grow and prepare themselves, I am clearing the paths for them, opening the doors and knocking down the obstacles so that they can pass. As I did with Israel when I brought them out of Egypt and led them through the sea and through the desert. These people bring the mission of spiritually awakening humanity, but when it has fulfilled and men realize the time in which they live, you will see arise from their hearts a longing for light and from their spirit an ideal of elevation, which will shake human life to its roots and transform the world. The conscience will be heard and obeyed, the calls of the spirit will be understood, spiritual longings will be taken into account and respected and everywhere will shine the fervent desire to know God, to feel Him, to get closer to Him and to sow His truth. These prophecies will be fulfilled among men, when hunger and spiritual thirst have taken them to the limits of their resistance, when, their pride dejected, they confess before their Lord, when you descend from your thrones, from your grandstands and from your seats of honor, from where you have tried to ignore me, from where you have judged me and denied me and repented of your mistakes. Turn your eyes towards me and speak to me as children to a father who has been waiting for centuries and centuries. How far has man sunk into his materialism, coming to deny the one who has created everything? How has the human mind been able to obfuscate to such a degree? How has your science been able to deny me and profane life and nature, as it has done? In every work that your science discovers, there is my presence, in each work my law is manifested and my voice is heard. How is it that these men do not feel, or see, or hear? Is it perhaps a proof of advancement and civilization to deny my existence, my love and my justice? You are then no more advanced than primitive men, who knew how to discover in each element and in each wonder of nature the work of a divine, superior, wise, just and powerful being, to whom they attributed all good in everything that exists and for that reason they worshipped him. Through a nascent intelligence, they tried to understand what their bodily senses received. What perfect worship could they offer me? What understanding could they have of the truth? However, their astonishment, their faith and their worship were received by me as the first fruits of a vast field that my spirit would cultivate throughout the ages. From then until now, how many lessons have I given mankind? And how many revelations have I made to him? However, when this humanity should have already reached the summit of understanding and when its worship should be perfect, it is when its selfish, arrogant and inhuman science has risen up to deny me and when the worships that do exist live in the lethargy of routine and of traditions. I gave you the gift of free will and I have respected that blessed freedom granted to my children, but I also placed in your being the divine light of conscience, so that, guided by it, you channel your gifts, and I tell you that in the struggle between spirit and matter, the spirit has suffered a defeat, a painful fall, which little by little has moved it further and further away from the source of truth. But his defeat is not definitive, it is temporary, because from the bottom of the abyss he will rise when he can no longer bear his hunger, his thirst, his nakedness and his darkness. But pain will be his salvation, and hearing the voice of his conscience he will rise strong and luminous, fervent and inspired, taking his gifts again, but no longer with that freedom to apply them to good or evil, but consecrating them only to the fulfillment of divine laws, which is the best worship you can offer to your Father who loves you so much. My peace be with you.